0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Phixated podcast. I am your host, Mike Azzolina, and I am joined by the only guy in America who did not sack Carson Wentz today. Regs, baby, we're back.
First of all, you don't know that. You never know what number I could have been wearing out there.
I'll tell you what.
Face shield, right?
Anybody could have sacked him today.
You don't know what I was doing today.
I know you weren't at the Phillies game.
I wasn't. That's very true.
Well, you ask, Warriors come out and play. It's fall Warriors baseball, baby.
It is back.
Well, how's it going?
I told you before we started, it's been a journey. We had, 5 guys who aged out of our team. Okay. So we were at 7, which is a great place to start. Like, we easily can find 4 guys, was my thought. So we start at 7. We then lose a kid to another team that just kind of pops up out of nowhere, a town away from us. We then offer another spot to a kid who comes to tryouts, and that kid gets poached by that same team that night. The dad of the kid who left talked to the dad of the kid we offered the spot to and poached him. So at that point, we were at 7 or at 6. We were at 6. And you can't play baseball with 6 people, obviously. No. So luckily we grabbed 3 kids from from a tryout that we had. But we're still only at 9. And
I have a bench, Riggs.
Yeah. And then with soccer and football, like it was going to be impossible to make sure that I had a team for every game. So we didn't join the league. I've been running around scheduling scrimmages, like a madman. So we had one today. We won with 6 guys. Our pitchers pitched lights out, like lights out.
How did you manage that?
Well, like I said, our pitchers literally pitched lights out. We gave up 3 runs in the first inning, and then they didn't hit a ball out of the infield the rest of the time.
Well, what positions did you actually have?
So we only had infield, pitcher, catcher. That's all we had. We had 6, so we had just enough for the infield to be full. And then they walked a good amount of guys, but also we got a big bases loaded double from one of our kids. So yeah, we ended up winning.
I mean, a 6-man. I feel like you could have managed the Phillies better than Topper did today with your win. What a job by you. That's a managerial masterclass, is what that
I don't know.
is.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Or we were
6-man dub.
We were just a little more talented, I think, than this other team.
I feel like I want that to be. Got to have manager Regs shirt for the pod.
Maybe, yeah.
A manager Reg shirt for the pod, ladies and gentlemen.
We can figure that out.
We got to get a manager Reg shirt. Come on, got to happen.
So
the guy wins with 6 players.
We're slowly, we're still trying to find some kids. Slowly but surely, I think we'll get to 11 by the springtime. We'll be ready to go. So
I mean, you're right though. This is a tough time of year to field a baseball team. There's too many other sports happening.
Soccer dominates our town like crazy.
Yeah. Maryland, like soccer and lacrosse.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
We're doing what we can. We're doing what we can.
You're winning with 6 guys. That's more than what you can, Rex.
I was very happy with how it went today.
Well done. I mean,
now we get to talk about disappointing baseball.
I know. I kind of just want to keep talking about the Warriors because I'm so sad right now.
We can. My son caught probably the best game he's ever caught. He was like, all right, I'm going to back up a little bit to show people. So visually,
if you're watching, if you're not,
podcast, this is not going to be helpful.
visualize this,
But he
because it's going to be
literally,
amazing.
he's up there. He gets a ball in the dirt. He scoops it and slaps his glove up like he's trying to frame it. He literally scooped it and went like this. And I was like, what is happening?
I mean, can I tell you something? The Phillies were that away from winning today.
Yeah.
That's what they were. That away from winning today, but they couldn't, Garrett Stubbs couldn't get the job done there. Couldn't get the job done. So, Regs, you mentioned it. Last we talked, we wanted a 3-6 stretch of games for the Phils. I'm sorry, we wanted 4 and 5. Yeah,
yep.
We wanted 4 and 5. Yeah.
We were being hopeful.
They were 3-6. Got swept in Atlanta, came home and split with Toronto. Won the first 2 against the Braves.
Yeah.
Won the first 2 against the Braves, but couldn't figure out a way to win one more, including today, in which they had a 1-run lead heading into the 8th inning. Just some more frustrating baseball, Regs, and their magic number sits at 8. Luckily, the Reds squeaked one out against the Brewers today. But it's games like today that give me pause with, 10 games to play. Your magic number's 8. You had it all in front of you today, all right in front of you, and you squandered it.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things that went wrong today, Regs. A lot. I mean, let me just run down a little list.
Hey, I was about to say, just run through them because I didn't catch a lot of it.
I mean, in the first inning, you have Brandon Marsh not wearing sunglasses in the outfield. If he does, he catches a ball, they're out of the inning without any runs given up. They end up with a 2-0 deficit. They come out right away and put up 3 against Morton. Gibson comes right back out and gives up runs.
God, he's starting to do that again.
Well, here's the problem. He gave up all 5 of his runs came with 2 outs today.
That's unbelievable.
Like that's another thing. So you had the Marsh issue. You had the 2 runs, 5 runs with 2 outs. And 2 of those were Brandon Marsh's, more on Brandon Marsh than anything. Marsh also had 3 hits today, so he made up for it offensively.
Yeah.
And then the Garrett Stubbs pass ball late in the game that tied it. Robertson wasn't good again.
Shocking.
He really wasn't good again. And that was that inning. It was the 8th inning. And then, I'm a topper guy, but Eflin comes in the top of the 10th with the runner on second. Gets a weak ground ball to Bohm, out number 1. Strikes out Olsen, out number 2. And I don't know how he got the 3rd out. Fly ball, did he strike him out? Either way, he got through the inning with no issues at all.
Yeah.
So they go into the bottom, and they have the runner on second. So they used Munoz to run at second. And the Braves immediately walk Harper.
Yeah.
So they put runners on first and second, Bohm's up. I know Alec Bohm has probably not bunted a whole lot in his career.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
So if you're going to sit there and you're going to tell me that you don't want Bohm bunting or you don't want to take that, then put Maton in the game and let him bunt.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you have to know you are a good bunt away from, and more than likely they walk Segura. But then you have Marsh, who had a 3-hit day today, who all he needs to do is lift a ball and the game's over.
Yeah.
The game's over. So that to me is a squandered opportunity. And then the next inning, the Phillies face Acuna with 1 out and a runner on third, and they pitched to him instead of walking him.
They pitched to him?
Yes, and he lined a ball up the middle to go ahead by a run, and then he ended up coming around to score to go ahead by 2 runs. Philly scored 1 in the bottom half of the 11th, but they lost 8-7. So I love Topper. He's done a lot this year. He's been incredible this year. But that's a moment that I feel like that's a game your manager loses for you. And you know that I talk about that shouldn't happen more often than not. Today's a game where there was a lot that happened before that. Again, don't get me wrong. Like, There's a lot that happened before that, but he did have. I would not be sitting here criticizing him right now if he had tried to bunt over the runner and it didn't work. When you are in that position after your pitcher gets through that situation in extra innings, you got to try and win the game right there.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know, Regs. To me, this was a Topper Gibson loss, but it's a bad loss because you go into these last 10 games, and we're going to talk about the schedule in a little bit, with the magic number being at 7. And I know this is going to sound crazy. I feel a lot better than the magic number being at 8 right now. So, and maybe it's just because it's the way it happened, but, and it's just that one loss there, but this was a loss that we could be looking back on in the next week and a half and saying, this is where the cookie kind of crumbled on them. What are you thinking?
I mean, I completely agree with you that, I mean, I don't know. Are we seeing that Thompson hasn't been in, like, I get it, he's been a coach for a very long time, but the decisions have not been on him in these kind of situations before. So do I hope that he sort of goes back and looks at this and hopefully it dawns on him pretty quickly? If guys like us are realizing it, a baseball guy like Rob Thompson should be able to figure it out. So the hope is that it dawns on him quickly that he made a mistake and he learns from it. But we have to remember, this guy has not been a manager in these situations with playoffs on the line. He's been with teams who have won championships and made the playoffs plenty of times. But it's a big difference when you're the guy holding the lineup card and you have to make those decisions in the moment. Again, like, am I crazy mad that he didn't take the bat out of Bohm's hand? No. I mean, I think Alex cooled off a little bit, obviously, from when he was just on a tear. But am I upset that he didn't take him out? I mean, I don't know. You got to, I guess, give Bohm the benefit of the doubt with how he's been hitting. So, whereas I agree with you that I think in that situation, it's probably the more right thing to do to bring in a guy like Maton and get a bunt down and get those runners over and then leave it to somebody just to hit a fly ball somewhere, you know? Maybe if it's somebody, right? Maybe if it's somebody different, he takes them out. I don't know. I don't know who you get to in the lineup at that point, right? You're not probably, I mean, maybe I can't remember the last time JT's ever bunted.
Yeah.
And you're probably not trying to take him out. I mean, again, Stubbs was in there maybe at that point.
JT had pinch hit like the inning before.
Okay. So again, I'm not sure who you get to in the lineup and you ask them to do that. I mean, again, I don't even know if you want Segura trying to do that. Maybe.
Yeah.
He
probably gets it in the hand.
Yeah. Something bad happens. But it's just one of those situations where you just have to, like, we get it. You don't want to look not confident in your guys to get a hit. But it's like you said, don't make us go out and pitch another inning. Just don't make us do it.
So they asked him after the game. It was the first question they asked, and he basically said, Alec Bohm's never bunted before in his life, I'm pretty sure. And then he added, and you don't want, I don't want to take the bat out of his hands. He's been hitting the ball really well. And again, I don't want to sit here and spend all this time killing Topper because he has been so good. I agree with you that, and again, if Bohm and Segura do what Bohm and Segura are capable of doing there, then we're not having the conversation anyway. Mm-hmm. So hindsight is 2020. I will say that, I was texting for a friend of the show, Adam Schaefer, during this, and both were saying, like, put it down. Schmidt was saying, put it down. Like, I get the thought process of your best hitters being your best hitters and you want them to do what they're supposed to do to win the game there. But you're also really putting yourself in a bad situation when you know what's coming up for the Braves the following inning. Yeah. So you got to try and win it right there. And they didn't, unfortunately. But, before we talk about the upcoming schedule, let's just talk about some positives from today. Alvarado again, dude.
What do you have, 102.5 or something?
Yes, which is the hardest. Someone said it's like the hardest throw.
There are a couple tweets out there. Yep.
Yeah, in Philly's history or something like that. Dude, he just came in and walked through the top of that order.
Yeah.
Like Swanson, Harris, and Riley, who are not easy to just coast through, and he just coasted right through, like just coasted through him.
Yeah.
He's given this stat is insane. So since he's come back up, so middle of June, Jose Alvarado has allowed 5 earned runs since the middle of June.
That's pretty good.
I mean,
yep.
And this is why, Regs, I want them so badly to get into the playoffs, because I do think with their top 3 and their bullpen, maybe aside from Robertson, Sir Anthony has looked great the last 2 nights.
Yeah.
He has looked great the last 2 nights. So that's a big positive. And with the addition of Eflin in the bullpen tonight, like not many pitchers are going to walk into that situation and be able to get 3 outs because of weak contact.
Yeah.
And he just does. He pitched 2 back-to-back days today.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday and today. So, they're testing that a little bit now with him to see if he's capable of doing it. So hopefully, as I was messaging back and forth with another friend of the show, Roger, today, and he was asking, we were talking a little bit about Eflin. I still think, and I want your thoughts on this before we jump to the next guy I want to talk about. If I'm Zach Eflin, I seriously wonder if I consider the bullpen for longevity in the game. And Roger brought up a good point when we were talking. He said, is it really that much better than starting every 5th day and throwing 5 or 6 innings? Or what I'm saying, which would be, maybe 2 or 3 days in a row for an inning. Mm-hmm. Maybe it is 6-1, half dozen the other. I don't know.
Yeah.
I always just, like, when I think about it, I'm always like, I think he'd probably get more length out of his career by turning himself into a reliever. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it probably is 6-1, half dozen the other. I don't know. Like, you got to think, obviously, he would need to change a lot of his routine and the way he goes about it and doing all that now, maybe after all the injuries. Who knows? Who knows if going once and then having 5 days off is better for his body at the moment than going on, a couple back-to-back nights, like even 3 in a row and pitching 1 or 2 innings. I mean, I think he's been doing great. Like, is his stuff like top level reliever stuff? I don't know. Maybe. We'd probably have to see it to sort of prove that out. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting. I think he'd probably have to change a lot. Maybe not a lot. He'd have to change, obviously. And I'd be interested to see how he would do that. Because I think how Eflin, he's obviously able to get guys out. And you saw it in that inning when, guy on second, he gets out of it with no damage. But it's like, you almost wish that when he's putting it together as a starter and you just have that as the opposing team, like over and over and over again, I would just love for that to translate to more than 1 inning. Yeah. I'd love for that, just like when he's on, he's getting those weak ground balls and not allowing guys to score, from second and all that stuff. Like, I just want that to happen for 5 or 6 innings. It's great when it happens for 1, like that's your job. But if he can put it together and do it for 5 or 6, like, give me that every 5th day.
Yeah, I just don't think he's ever going to have the starting career with those knees.
And you're probably very right
to put it together. And selfishly, I really like Zach Eflin.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to be a starter here, and if he wants to continue as a starter, it's going to be elsewhere. There's always teams lining up for a guy like him because of the potential.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he'll find a 1-year deal somewhere else on the market. And he'll probably have his first healthy season in his career when that happens. Just because it'll bite the Phillies that he's not back here.
Of course.
But I mean, I would take him back in the bullpen role for sure next year, for sure. Because you figure some of these guys are, guys that you're leaning on this year aren't going to be back. Yeah. So certainly, I'd bring Zach Eflin back to be a piece of the bullpen. All right, one last little touch before we go into the remaining schedules for for all three of the Phillies, Brewers, and Padres. Ranger Suarez. And you're probably wondering why I want to talk about Ranger. Not only did he have a really good start against the Braves this past weekend, but Ranger is going to get screwed out of a Gold Glove because this week so tweet from Matt Geld. Gold Glove ballots were distributed this week. Ranger Suarez is on the mound for his 27th start. Suarez was omitted from the ballots. Rawlings set the innings threshold at 138. Suarez was 3 1/3 innings pitched short at the time of ballot printing. He leads all pitchers, every pitcher, in defensive runs saved. He's going to get screwed out of a Gold Glove.
Yeah, you leave that guy off.
He was going to have his 3 1/3 innings before the end of the year.
Right.
Just let him finish the.
Yeah,
you know
I know,
what I mean?
right?
Like,
it's not like he was hurt and he wasn't going to pitch again.
He surpassed it in that start.
Yeah.
The start of that tweet, he surpassed it that night.
Right.
That's a bad job by Rawlings.
Yeah, that's tough.
And unfortunately, Ranger's going to, miss out on a Gold Glove. He won't have any votes either. Like, it's not even like he'll have any votes on the ballot.
Yeah.
Ranger, you're a Gold Glove winner in our book.
That's right.
There's a T-shirt.
Ranger is a Gold Glove winner.
Phixated Nation's Choice. We'll just get a ballot printed on the shirt with
there you go.
Check mark. I'll design that tomorrow. Ranger, you're our choice. All right. Well, speaking of Ranger, the Phillies have redone their rotation to line up so that if they should get in the playoffs, they're lined up exactly where they need to be for that series, whether it be in St. Louis, in New York, or in Atlanta. We still don't know what that could look like. We still don't know if they're getting in. But this week when they head to Chicago, all the team, Padres are off tomorrow, Phillies are off tomorrow, Brewers are off tomorrow. So we have a stress-free evening.
All right.
Of not worrying about teams jumping, tying them. Right now they're a game and a half behind the Padres.
Right.
For that second spot. Out of the three teams, the Padres have the most difficult schedule remaining. The Padres have 9 home games to finish the season, but they play the Dodgers, the White Sox, and the Giants. So not your easiest schedule here for the rest of the season. 3 with the Dodgers alone is nightmarish.
Yeah.
The Phillies have 10 games left. That's where the half game is coming in the standings between these 3 teams. 3 at Chicago, all 10 on the road, by the way. 3 at Chicago, 4 at Washington, including a doubleheader on Saturday. And then 3 in Houston that should have been played back at the beginning. So all 3 of these last series should have been opening series for all the teams.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Brewers are at home where they're very good. 2 against St. Louis, 4 against Miami. Come on, Marlins.
I know.
You've ruined our season so many times. Can you just
help us out a little bit?
Can you just don't be assholes is all I ask. And then they have 3 with Arizona. So, Regs, we talked about it as we kicked off here. 8 is the magic number. We talked about it off the air. The Phillies have their starters lined up to be exactly what they need them to be. It's not going to be energy in Wrigley. It's going to be, you got to get yourself up to play these next 7 games.
Yep.
Because the 3 in Houston, I said to you off the air, I don't think Houston's going to hand the Phillies anything.
I really hope you're wrong, by the way.
I don't think I'm going to be. Dusty Baker, out for blood. They did not hire him. but you've got 7 against 2 of the worst teams in baseball. That just by pure chance, Miami's throwing Cabrera, Lopez, Alcantara, like somebody when they're in Milwaukee. So Milwaukee's going to have to deal with that somehow.
Yeah.
And you just hope for a split with St. Louis. If the Phillies should go 6-1 in these next 7 and everything breaks right on the other side of that, they should be pretty much lined up to get in. Because I do feel like there's 2 to 3 losses for Milwaukee between St. Louis and just the pitching for Miami. Right. I just don't want this to come down to that Houston series, Regs.
I really don't either.
Every piece of me feels like if it gets to that series, they're not getting in.
Yeah. I think most people would feel that way. I don't want to go up against that team and have to win. I don't want to do it.
Even if it's one game.
Yeah, especially in Houston.
I want nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, me neither.
So,
can we just win all 7 games and just hope for one Brewers loss and just be done with this, please?
All right. We do this every time we have a show.
Everything is holy. Like, for the good of all that's holy. Please, God.
Wait, listen, if they go 7-0 and they're not clinched, I can't, Regs. I cannot. If they go 7-0 and they are not clinched, that means we are not on here Sunday night. Like, and we've talked about this. The second they win, we're doing a playoff show the second they clinch.
Yep.
So, all right, we've done this all year. We have done this every stretch of games that this team has had. We always come on this show and we say, here's their next 9, here's their next 10. Where do they need to be? What are they going to do? They have 10 games left in this season. They need to win 8 or some combination of 8 wins and losses with the Brewers. Realistically, what is the final 10-game record for the Phillies?
7-3.
7-3.
With 2 losses from the Brewers.
Okay. That puts them in.
I don't think we beat Houston one time.
You see?
No.
Well, I'll tell you what. If they
I think it's more likely that we go 7-0 against the Cubs and Nationals than we beat Houston in Houston.
Well, if they go 7-0, it's likely we don't see a single freaking player play in that series against Houston.
Good.
It's just gonna be the Iron Pigs.
That would be my absolute goal for that series.
It's gonna be the Iron Pigs. News that we haven't talked about, the potential for Nick Castellanos playing on this road trip.
Yes. They said, right? He should be back for the Cubs.
So, I mean, that's a lift, I mean, I know it wasn't great, but it still lengthens that. I know Matt Vierling was 5 for 5 the other night, but it was potentially the worst 5 for 5 I've ever seen in my life.
Don't take that away from Matt. Come on.
The guy's average exit velocity was like 21 miles an hour.
He got the job done.
I know. I love Matt Vierling. I love Matt Vierling.
Azzy, can we just get can our guys just be the guys? Can Bryce Harper not suck anymore? Can I have him back? I just want him back.
And this is the time where your guys are supposed to do it. So
I don't feel good about it.
Yeah. You got 10 games left. You say 7-3, Regs. I'm saying 8-2.
If Castellanos wants to redeem his entire season, he comes back and he just rakes the absolute crap out of the ball for 10 games.
Well, I got 8-2. And I actually, you know what? Let's have some fun. They lock it down Saturday or Sunday.
Okay.
I say Milwaukee loses both to St. Louis.
There you go.
And then bookend losses to Miami. 8-2. Here's why I say that. This Phillies team has taken care of the bad teams for pretty much since Topper took over.
Yes.
Aside from a couple of rough
Arizona.
Yeah, that trip out west, which again, I still stand by. That West Coast trip at this time of year is hard. And Chicago coming out of the break, so they owe Chicago a little bit. So, all right, Regs. Positive Azzy is back.
All right.
Hesitantly back.
Oh my God, Azzy, I'm so
back.
scared. I'm so scared.
If they don't get in, it is going to be a very sad podcast.
I don't know how to hand, like, it's like I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, I don't know.
Well,
I'm so scared.
If they don't get in, you and I are going to have one of the saddest podcasts.
We might be more drunk on the sad one than the happy one.
It's possible. It's possible.
I might need whiskey for the sad one and beer for the happy one.
It's like the episode of The Office.
Yeah.
Where Michael Scott has the happy box and the sad box.
Yep.
For, depending on what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Please, please, God, Phillies, if you're out there.
I mean,
you're out there.
Baseball gods.
Please just come on.
This is our plea.
It's been long enough.
I just want playoff baseball. If they go and get beat in the first round of now listen, I don't want it, but I just need them to get in. I just need this team to feel playoff baseball so that we have something to build on. Because right now it just feels like it always feels.
Yes.
And I don't want to feel like I always feel in September. They need some combination of 8 wins and losses with the Brewers. That's all I need in this life is for them to find a way to clinch. So baseball gods, for all that is holy in this sport, I ask this with every fiber of my being and my love for the sport. Please don't screw us over. Just place us gently into the depths of playoff hell. I will ask nothing more of you if you just place us into playoff hell. And by that, I mean the good kind that I'm nervous about.
Right.
That's what I mean. I just want to be involved in the nerves and the anxiety of playoff baseball. So, Regs, by the time we talk on Thursday, the Phillies will have finished a 3-game series with Chicago because I think the Thursday game is a day game.
Okay.
I'm just double checking. It is. It's a 2:30 game on Thursday. So they will have finished their 3-game series with Chicago by the time we record Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully at that point, they will have picked up hopefully at that point, their magic number's at 3. That's all I can hope for.
Yeah.
That's all I can hope for. Could even be at 2 for all I care. Maybe Miami will beat, maybe Milwaukee will just be on 3-game losing streak.
Who knows?
Listen, we could belabor this all night. We just need the Phillies in the playoffs. Okay?
We could do this all night, by the way. For the people out there, we could literally sit and just keep going over this for a good another couple hours.
Yeah. So we're going to leave it there. Hopefully when we talk on Thursday, we're in a place of this is happening. Yep. I just don't want to back into it. Just win games, get in, set it up, be ready to go when that divisional or wild card round starts. That's all I can ask for. Hey, Birds.
Yeah, how about them?
2-0 since the last time we spoke, Rags.
How about them?
I mean, let's start Monday night, huh?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Jalen Hurts.
What a statement.
Jalen Hurts. What a dude. We're gonna go in a little bit to why he's such a dude. But Monday night, he was 26 of 31 for 333 yards. Rush for 2 touchdowns. 2 of those incompletions were drops.
Yeah.
The one to Goddard, which might have been his best throw of the night, by the way.
Yeah.
And then the interception that wasn't even deemed a turnover-worthy play. It was just Gainwell dropping a ball.
Mm-hmm.
He was unreal.
Yeah.
I mean, the throws with the anticipation. I was texting you. His decisiveness and his anticipation were next level, more so than I think I've ever seen him make. Clearly, because I didn't watch him too much in college. Only games that I had to watch. But since he's been an Eagle, it was just a different sense.
Yeah,
and the confidence that he was playing with, and even today, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But more so, Monday night and the run, the second touchdown run, where he bootlegged and didn't have what he wanted. So Goddard blocked upfield and he just bullied his way into the end zone. I mean, he had no business getting it.
No.
He was basically like the yak started at the 6.
Yeah.
Like his yards after contact started at the 6. And most quarterbacks are like, you know what? I'm going to call it here. We're going to live to play another down. No, he wasn't doing that. Not at home, not with the juice in that stadium. He was plowing his way into the end zone. So your thoughts on Jalen on Monday night?
Again, I think we talked about it after the first game and sort of that completion number. And I said my hope was that he's not happy with that, regardless of how you talked about it, like regardless of how the incompletions happened. And he came out, I mean, just what a statement from, let's just start with the offense side, but they just were moving.
Yeah.
And it was just I think the thing I appreciated the most is that it looked so efficient. Like they were in a rhythm. They were making the right play calls. Jalen was making the right decisions. Guys were getting open. When somebody wasn't open, he had good check down options, still running the ball well. Like the Minnesota defense is not bad.
No.
They're not a bad defense. And when we talked about this game, it was one of those games that like you weren't really sure if they would win it or not. And to come out, I mean, again, the home crowd was just bonkers. But to come out and do that, again, we'll get to the defensive side of the ball, but from an offensive standpoint, to see that this is what we're going to keep hammering this point home. We want to see Jalen Hurts improve and learn from his mistakes. I think he saw that sort of 16 for 30, whatever he was in the game before, and, made a conscious effort to, I'm going to be more decisive. I'm going to complete my passes. We're going to be efficient. We're going to move this ball, and then we're going to score touchdowns. Like that's what I love seeing, is that this team is able to score touchdowns when they're down there in the red zone. Just great. Like I don't know how much more you could say about it. It was just great.
And just the pure. So the two very different defenses the first 2 weeks. And even today, when we go through that game, and again, I haven't had a chance other than standing and watching it at CBP. Like I didn't get to look at much yet, but like two very different defenses from week 1 to week 2. Week 1 was a lot of blitzing, extra guys coming after him, and he beat that with his legs. And then week 2, they were playing like this really loose shell with 10 yards. It was basically John Gannon type stuff.
Yeah,
and he picked it apart, and he used everybody. I mean, Goddard had 82 yards receiving on 5 catches. Smith had 80 yards receiving on 7 catches. Brown had 69 yards receiving on 5 catches. Quez had 69 on 2 catches, and should have had another one for 34, but it got taken back by a penalty. So, just balanced in terms of his targets. They ran the ball well with efficiency. I mean, Miles was 17 for 80 in that game. He ran for 57 on 11 attempts. So just a very balanced offensive attack. And if people who are looking for things to complain about right now are complaining about second half offense. And, Jalen will tell you they're not living up to the standard. And I heard Miles Sanders today after the game saying, they want to continue to score.
Yeah.
But I think in both games, they moved the ball well in the third quarter, and, they had the field goal block against Minnesota that took points off the board. And then the fourth quarter, you're just taking the air out of the ball. Like, you're not running the same offense in the fourth quarter. You're just trying to get to the end and go out with a win. Both games were locked up at the start of the fourth quarter. So I don't know that I'm too worried about that, if I'm being honest. I think it's just something to complain about, something to whine about. Sure, I want it to be better. I want more points in the second half, but I'm not going to panic on that quite yet. Like, they're just blowing teams out of the water from the jump right now.
Yeah.
Which is a great sign. Real quickly with the defense the other night. I talked a little bit about keys to the game, and we talked about pressure on Cousins, which they didn't. I mean, they got it. They didn't sack him a whole lot. I think they only had 2 sacks, 2.5 sacks, but they were sending extra players at him in opportune spots. But I talked a little bit about Dalvin Cook and stopping Dalvin Cook and stopping the run. That Minnesota had 25 yards rushing by running backs. Their leading rusher was Kirk Cousins. He had 20 yards on the ground on scrambles. Now, some of that's because they had to throw the ball. They were down by too much and they had to throw. But that's what happens when you get off to good starts, which, like, Doug Peterson teams were never known for getting off to good starts. Even last year, the Eagles didn't get off to fast starts. When you get off to fast starts and you put a team on their heels, they do have to drop back. You can pin your ears back. You don't have to worry as much about the team running the other team running the football. And then you create turnovers. And that's what happened the other night. They were sending extra at Kirk. He was rushing throws. Guys were not running their routes correctly. He had Avante picked him off. Darius picked him off twice. Most Philly moment, by the way, Darius Slay picking off Kirk Cousins, running the ball clear across the stadium and giving it to James Harden. Sixers for a title in 6 this year. Can we just say that? But I don't know, man. The defense, John Gannon last, Monday night, and then we'll talk a little bit today. Very different. Very different.
Yes. So I think it kind of hit me when he blitzed like 2 or 3 times in a row when the Redskins were getting towards the, in our side of the field, like probably around the 35 or something. And one of them caused that second interception, I believe, the one in the end zone.
Are you talking about Monday still?
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Okay. No. Yeah. You said Washington. I got confused.
So we sent extra guys 3 plays in a row. And again, Kirk, he was getting rid of the ball fast, but he was not making good passes. And it was just, I was very happy. And I was also very happy with today to see 9 sacks on the board.
Well, we're going there.
I mean, I don't like. Do we want to talk about what you said before we started that we broke Justin Jefferson?
Well, I was just gonna say before we jump over there, Justin Jefferson, 6 catches for 48 yards against the Eagles today. Let me pull up today for you real quickly because I think we might have broken Justin Jefferson, which is super sad for my fantasy team. Today, Justin Jefferson, 3 catches for 14 yards against the Lions. So they might have broken Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Tell you didn't have quite the revenge game he was hoping for.
Mr. Rager.
Yeah. The boos when that dude got on the. How about him waving him on and then a punt return for a loss of 1?
Yep. I love it.
Dude, gosh. I mean, look, Justin Jefferson's way too talented to be broken.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
I kid when I say that. Just, Darius Slay he's just really good.
Yeah.
We all kind of got locked up in that 2020 version of him, and I don't think he was in the right defense to be successful yet. And certainly the last 2 years, Darius Slay has been that big play guy that, teams dread. I mean, again today, just like now, we're going to talk in a moment. A lot of the defensive success was up front, but some of that you have to credit the back end because when you have 7 sacks caused by your front 4, your back end's doing something right.
Yeah.
Only 2 sacks today were caused by a blitz where they sent extra guys. The other 7 were all just front 4 created. And I know Washington's pretty beat up front right now. I get that. But like 7 sacks caused by your front 4, it's 4 against 5. Sometimes with an extra guy that you're running back there.
Yeah. I think the front 4 needed this. They didn't get home a lot against Cousins.
Yeah.
I think they needed this to kind of get the confidence back in themselves. I think Reddick in particular. I don't know what I was expecting generally from him, but I guess it was more than I've seen so far. Again, he's not like Von Miller in the 2010s. You know what I mean? He's not that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to see him get the confidence back and like start getting home and disrupting things. And even if he's not getting sacks, like just getting your hands around the quarterback, all those things.
Yeah. Yeah. He had 1.5 today. Clearly he's not quite there yet. And some of it's probably adjusting to the guys that he's playing with for the first time. We sometimes see a little bit of that. And today he definitely broke out a little. And again, I said this when we did my bold predictions, and this was one of the games that I talked about where the Eagles front is going to hit big because there are certain quarterbacks who just play to that and certain offensive lines that play to their strengths. Carson's one of them, man. Like that dude has not learned a thing since leaving here about pocket presence. Like talent will get you only so far. Arm strength will only get you so far. And I was a big Carson guy, and I do still want him to be successful. But my goodness, his feel in the pocket is non-existent. Today I saw it from the other side for the first time, right? Like I'm watching Carson Wentz as a fan of the other team.
Yeah.
And there were 3 or 4 different plays where the edge rusher pulls by him and he doesn't move in the pocket. Like that's where you either step up or slide out.
Yeah.
And he has no feel for that because when the edge guy gets by you, he should not be turning right back upfield to get you.
Right.
Like that should not happen. And that happened far too many times with Carson as an Eagle. And it happened again today against the Eagles. I mean, Brandon Graham, I think, had 2 sacks just because of that. I think the fumble was because of that. So we talked about 9 sacks. The 7 without the blitz is the most sacks by a 4-man rush in the NFL in 3 years. So kudos to the Eagles defense on that. Hurts' numbers say he's 22 of 35. He got off to a very slow start.
Yeah.
For 340 yards and 3 touchdowns. The throw to Smith that resulted in a touchdown was insane. First of all, the throw and the catch, both throws and catches to Smith downfield were insane. I mean, he had 3 ridiculous catches today, if we're being honest.
I'm so happy Devontae had a game like this.
Yeah, me too, because that first game, there was way too much to say about nothing.
Yeah.
But what I found out after the game, and I don't know if you saw this or heard this yet, the touchdown throw to him right before half was they didn't come out of like the huddle with 2 plays under their belt. They thought they were getting in on that 3rd down play. They thought they'd be able to run it in, and obviously the run didn't go where they were expecting it to.
Right.
And Jalen just got up to the line and called a play and threw that ball to Devontae, and Devontae went up and made
a play.
What a play, man. What a play. Just going up over a dude like that. Face guarding you.
Yeah.
And, the AJ Brown touchdown catch, that guy's catch radius is basically me in every direction.
Yeah.
Like lay me vertically or horizontally, however you want to do it. That's his catch radius. So Jalen can throw that throw was like back shoulder almost on the slant. And he just picked it out and drugged the guy into the end zone. Like, no big deal. I mean, and then the Goddard screen, like Goddard moves like he's a wide receiver. There's just way too much in terms of weaponry on this roster. They didn't run the ball the way they usually do, but honestly, a couple more things, and then I want to just ask, your highlights were today. The first half QB comparison Jalen, 18 of 27 for 279 and 3 touchdowns. Carson, 3 of 10 for 24 yards, 6 sacks, and a fumble, and 2 fumbles. One of them lost. Not great.
Somehow I live 40 minutes from Washington and didn't get this game. Fox had Ravens Patriots, and CBS didn't have a game on.
Oh,
It was bull riding. Like, come on.
what?
So I didn't catch any of it. I was following along on the ticker. But listen, I'll just say that you're welcome for making this a lock. And, you know, it coming
there it
through.
is. Regs, it was on my notes here. Regs' lock of the year was the first Washington game. So he can officially take the first lock. Mine is next week against what looks to be a pretty scary Jacksonville team.
And what did I say? I said that Eagles fans would take over that stadium.
I talked about that too. Like if there's anything that's more of a lock than a win, it's the fact that the Eagles fans were not going to, let Carson Wentz's first game against the Eagles go unnoticed. And if he looked like that here, what's he going to look like in Philly? Honestly, Regs, I don't know if he's still going to be the starting quarterback when they get to Philly.
#a puddle.
Oh my gosh.
That might be a t-shirt.
# a puddle.
Or hashtag, I still say we make the Joe's Gotta Go t-shirt.
I mean, we should. It was our thing. # Joe's Gotta Go.
And it worked.
# topper to Cooperstown. All right, real quickly, unsung hero on the defense so far through 3 weeks. TJ Edwards. I mean, this dude from undrafted to keeping Nakobe Dean off the field.
Yep.
10 tackles today, 2 for loss. He had a sack and he got to Carson twice. He's been phenomenal. He's been well beyond what this team would have expected him to be. Really great to see. Good for TJ.
Yeah,
Edwards.
really good.
Really good.
Had good plays in the Minnesota game too.
Yeah, he's just been all around really sound in the middle of the field for them. Talking about the rush defense here again. 87 total yards rushing, 52 by running backs. So back-to-back weeks with teams under 100 yards after that. Really tough start against Detroit.
Yeah.
So good to see. Good to see for sure.
Absolutely.
Just a couple of fun things here. This is what I said to you before when we first started the show. Jalen Hurts is the first quarterback in NFL history through 3 games to have these stats. Over 900 yards passing and over 150 yards rushing.
Huh.
Right. Think about some of the dudes.
I was about to say like
Mike Vick,
Russell Wilson,
the guy doing it every week in Baltimore right now, Lamar Jackson. Guy. I mean, what Jalen's doing right now, it's pretty freaking impressive.
I need to stay level. I'm very happy.
Listen, you can stay level and say that it's really impressive.
It is. It's very impressive, and I just hope it continues to improve.
Yeah. So, real quickly, fun little anecdote here. Last night, if you haven't seen on Twitter, type in Redeem Team, and you'll get a video of Kobe all these guys talking about Kobe Bryant before the Spain game in the Olympics. Regs, what year was that Olympics?
Oh, geez.
Do you remember?
It was in the early 2000s. Hold on.
Like early 2000s or like 2010s?
Let me tell you.
All right, he's gonna look it up while I'm explaining it. He'll look it up.
2008.
So it was 08, really special year.
There you go.
So they're doing a documentary about the Redeem Team, which was like Kobe and LeBron and Bosh and the team was absolutely loaded.
Yeah.
And the guys are talking about Kobe before the Spain game and how he said, I know what they're running in their first set and I'm running through Pal's chest. And he talks, they're all talking about it and how he empowered teammates. So the Eagles showed this on Saturday night. Sirianni showed it to the team. And I said to Regs before the game, it's cool enough that they showed it. Kobe was a huge Birds fan.
Yep.
Sirianni used it as motivation. The Eagles win 24-8 against Washington, which were Kobe's numbers. as an NBA Hall of Famer. So really cool. One of those things that, makes you love sports because there's something behind that, man.
Crazy.
There's something behind that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? They don't get the 2-point conversion late in the game and they don't score at all in the second half. They win 24-8 after he shows that the night before. Just something there. The other thing that made me laugh, and I'm going to make fun of somebody here for a second. Remember Evan Turner?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, the guy decided that today was the right day to go ahead and tweet this. I remember when everyone in Philly was on Wentz's top when he was healthy in the MVP race and winning games. Some of y'all timelines don't reflect that same energy. But I guess a sports city gone sports city.
Does he play basketball anymore for somebody?
No.
I didn't think so.
Evan, listen, guy.
Just nobody cares, Evan.
It takes a bust to know a bust. And, you want to come out and defend Carson, like, cool. But you're right. A sports city knows when something isn't the way it was supposed to be. And a sports city also will cheer for a guy when they're doing well and recognize a guy who's not good anymore. I don't know exactly what his point was, Rags.
People are dumb is what the point is.
Like that's such a bad take.
Yeah. Thanks for your opinion, Evan.
I mean, I liked it just so I could read the replies later because it's not gonna go well for Evan.
No,
unfortunately, it's not gonna go well for Evan. I just want to look at like the first reply. One bus sticking up for another bus is nice to see.
Perfect.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, man, that's what happens when everything changes. Glad you can keep up. I mean, people just going in on them.
Thanks for your opinion, Evan. We
Yeah,
appreciate it. What are you doing nowadays?
I mean, someone tweeted "Shut up, Kermit." That's kind of guy did have an eerie resemblance to Kermit the Frog. Hey, real quickly, a quick check on my bold predictions before I do the Phixated.
Yeah.
Don't have a Sirianni metaphor. It's week 4 next week. I need a Sirianni metaphor, or I'm out. 1-0 in the East.
There you go.
1-0
That's
in
right.
the East.
Going strong.
Hey, that number 1 rush defense.
Do it. Yeah. All right.
Not out of the question.
Still plausible.
Not out of the question. Doesn't look like Nakobe Dean's going to be getting defensive rookie of the year.
No, it doesn't.
Because TJ Edwards isn't coming off the field. The 2 players with 20 sacks combined, very plausible.
Yes.
They get to play Carson again, so they should probably combine for 10 at least. I mean, after today, Fletcher has 3, Sweat has 2.5, BG has 2.5, and they have a couple with 1 or 2, so that's good.
All right.
I'm in the race there.
You are.
Kenny Gainwell's not getting to 1,000 total yards.
Don't think so.
Because Miles Sanders is playing really freaking well. Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. This one you just want to put a check mark now.
No, you stop it. You stop. Knock on wood. You stop. The offensive line, very plausible. I mean, Kelsey and Lane Johnson.
Yeah.
Lane Johnson just continues to week in and week out be a dude. Jason Kelsey continues to be a dude.
Mm-hmm.
And the other 3, I mean, today, the fact that those guys didn't get to Jalen Hurts more in the middle of that defensive line with Allen and Payne.
Yeah.
Those guys they're 300 plus pounds of just muscle.
Yeah.
And, Sam Alu didn't budge today. Good for him. Good on him. I'm not calling my Quez prediction off yet.
No, I think there's still time.
Here's the problem though, Rags, with the Quez prediction. He would have had a huge catch again today, but they just reach out and grab him because he's just going to blow by you. So unless he's got 10 yards of separation, he's just not going to get these catches. I mean, he was clearly going to either have another touchdown or a catch for 70 plus yards. Mm-hmm. And they just reached out and grabbed him, and that was his only target today. Yeah. There's so many targets to go around. So if he doesn't get that one big home run ball a game, it's probably just not going to happen, which is unfortunate for that prediction. But fortunate for us. And then that NFC 1 seed, baby, right now, the
Hey,
1 seed in the NFC,
there you go.
your Philadelphia Eagles. So, Regs, I
Not
feel
bad
good
so
today.
far. Not bad so far.
Not terrible. Not
No,
terrible.
not at
Gonna
all.
have to listen to that Sirianni press conference for the metaphor.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure that out.
Because there's probably going to be something in there about Doug coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'll get that metaphor with Doug coming back. All right, ready for a Phixated?
Yes.
Okay. So, all right, clearly when you go to a Phillies game, you will see like opposing fans in the stadium. It happens. I usually like try to be really kind and, I don't say a whole lot unless you're really obnoxious. Which honestly isn't the case a whole lot.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not.
when I went when we were at the Sunday night game against the Cardinals, there were a couple Cardinal fans who were pretty obnoxious, and it was fun to watch Wheeler shut him up for 8 innings. But for the most part, opposing fans are pretty good, and I try and explain to people, like, if you're good, like if you just go and cheer for your team, you're not going to get a whole lot of flack at a Phillies game.
Yeah.
I can't say the same about an Eagles game, but a Phillies game, you're not going to get a whole lot of flack.
Right.
So today I was watching the game. If you follow the Phixated pod on Twitter, you saw that I was watching the usher put on the Eagles game for me at the bar on the rooftop that wasn't open. He just put it on for me. And then I was watching the Phillies game, like kind of back and forth. So at halftime of the Eagles game, I walked down to Tony Luke's to get a cheesesteak. And there were 2 Braves fans in front of me. They didn't know each other, but they were talking to each other. And, they got going on their history of being a Braves fan. And Regs, like, I got to tell you, I just don't buy the Pennsylvania Braves fans' history very often. And this is what it is. You talk to a Braves fan that was born in Pennsylvania, and here's what they'll say. Well, when I was growing up, the only team that was ever on because of TBS was the Braves. And, for me, that's why I became a fan. And Regs, here's the thing. That's probably nationwide for the most part, right? Like, if you live in Washington State and you were growing up, you would have that same reasoning, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you lived in North Dakota, you have that same reasoning. And if you live in North Dakota and you're a Braves fan because TBS was all you had,
right? There's no other baseball teams.
There's no other baseball teams.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Go ahead and be a Braves fan.
Makes perfect sense.
That's fine. You live in Tennessee and there's no, teams there and you're watching TBS, fine. If you live in Pennsylvania and you're a Braves fan because TBS was the only baseball you could watch, you're a liar.
Yeah. I was about to
you're a straight up liar.
The Phillies were on Channel 10.
Here's and you know what, they were on Prism a lot, so they were scrambled unless you had the whole thing. But you're a liar. Please just tell me you like them because they had Greg Maddux, John Smoltz, Tom Glavine, Steve Avery, Fred McGriff, Otis Nixon, David Justice. Just
Andrew
be
Jones, Chipper Jones,
just be honest.
Yeah.
Just be honest. This is you're not fooling me. You're not fooling the guy behind me who rolled his eyes almost through the back of his head. You're not fooling anybody. You like them because they won.
Yeah.
And just say it. You didn't like them because they were the only game on TV. You could have driven to Pittsburgh or to Philly to watch games live and been a fan. They were, you know what, Regs? The Braves were the only team I could watch without it being scrambled. We didn't pay for Prism. We couldn't afford it, so we didn't pay for it. So we watched the game scrambled or we listened to Harry on the radio. But I didn't become a Braves fan. The Phillies were terrible during our childhood.
Yes,
I had one winning season. One until I was in high school. So listen, man, I don't want to hear that you were forced to be a Braves fan because it was the only thing on television. So, I just chose the Braves because, that's what I did. No, that's not why. And again, I will never, ever tell you can't be a fan of a team. Cheer for whoever the heck you want to cheer for. But don't lie. You like them because they were in the playoffs every year.
Yeah.
It wasn't because they were on Turner TV.
Yeah.
That's all I got to watch. They were if the Phillies were on playing the Braves, I was pumped because I got to watch the Phillies without them being scrambled. But Like, you can be a Braves fan, but just be honest. Like,
Yeah, right.
I don't need you making it up.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like, I know what those teams look like. I know how good they were. Like, you jumped the bandwagon, and it's fine. It's fine. You got to see your World Series when you were 4 and had to wait until last year to win another one, and it's cool. Just accept it and be honest about it. I didn't feel like hearing your sob story while you were in line for Tony Luke's and making fun of the Liberty Bell. They made fun of the Liberty Bell.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
It's just a bell with a crack in it. I don't get it. Maybe read a book.
Read anything.
What's that podcast, Regs? We'll send it to him.
Oh, the history one? Yeah, we'll send it to him. Yep.
I mean, read a book. Like, what are you doing? And while you're at it, I'll send you a book about TBS and becoming a fan about the Braves. I don't know. Whatever.
We can put that together.
That's what I'm fixated on. Just people being idiots. Just like, tell me the truth. Don't be a liar.
It's a great one. It's right up there with the people who were at that one Sunday game we were at. The fireworks game.
Oh, yeah, with all the people.
Yeah.
And they drive me nuts.
Another great
They drive me nuts. The bandwagon Phillies
right.
fans, man. They'll be back.
They'll
will
be
back eventually.
They will be.
Oh. Regs, good times, buddy.
Hey, always.
Birds 3-0. Philly's going to overcome this week.
They're going to do it. They're going to do it.
I feel good about it. Regs, you and I are probably playing in a golf tournament here in a month.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that.
Basically like a month from today, I think.
Literally 2 days ago. Yep.
Yeah. We'll be playing in a golf tournament.
Can't wait.
Gonna have my Phixated pod polo for that.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah. Gonna wear it to the thing.
It'll probably be cold. We probably wear the sweatshirt too.
Regs, the pullover.
There you go.
I'm getting the pullover ready.
There you go.
Regs, you know darn well. So while we're talking about it, go get your merch.
Yeah, please do.
Go get your merch.
It'll be in the description of this podcast. On still our pinned tweet on Twitter if you ever need to find it.
And you know what, Regs? We're gonna get the stinking koozies.
Are you getting bugged about it?
We're just gonna do the koozies, man. So many people this week at work came to me about the koozies.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we gotta do the koozies.
We might have to bend to popular demand here.
I mean, you know what? It's like being a Braves fan. It's too hard to pass up, I guess. It's just right in front of me. I got to do it.
Yeah, we got to do it.
Got to do it. I don't have another choice.
I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, I don't know what else to cheer for. It's the only team that's ever on TV. So yeah, the koozies, the only thing you can buy. So yeah, we'll let you know when those are up on the site and for sale. But I'm thinking we got to do the Joe's Got to Go shirts, the topper shirts. Topper for Cooper's. We'll wait on the topper ones until he's officially
we're gonna figure out some. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, and manager of the year shirts with your face on them.
There you go.
That's what we're doing.
There you go.
Regs, it's been a pleasure, man. Everybody listening, make sure you click subscribe on the box below us if you're watching on YouTube. We've had some really great YouTube numbers, so keep those flying. We're so pumped about it. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram. You can follow the Birdies and Beer Network Instagram there. Follow us on Twitter, both at B&B Pods. Also at the Phixated Pod. You can follow me at the Mic Drop 5 and Regs at Big Regs with a Z. Make sure you follow us at the Phixated fan page. Got to get something up there. I've been slacking like crazy on that page, man. I got to get back. Yeah, got to get back going there. So,
do the Phillies make the playoffs? Yes or no?
There it is, the poll of the year.
There it is.
10 games to go, 8 the magic number.
There it is. That's the poll.
That's the poll. I'll get it up tomorrow on the day off. We'll do it. So nervous. Well, we'll see you again on Thursday night. We'll have a better vibe, I think, for where we're at. Until then, everybody be safe. Be kind to someone. We love you for listening. Go Phils. Go Birds.
That's right.
Take care, everybody.
Have a good night, everyone.
Oh, my God. Deep to right field. Way up there and way out of here.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.